of major political stories in Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Mixed fortune for political parties in Nigeria as Election Petitions Tribunal delivers judgment on more cases. On the interview segment for today, we focus on quelea births and threats to food security, with immediate past Deputy Governor of Kebbi State and former Army fighter jet pilot, retired Colonel Samaila Yumbe Dabai, as our guest. Welcome to Politics Tonight. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by the immediate past Deputy Governor of Kebbi State and former Army fighter jet pilot, retired Colonel Samaila Yumbe Dabai, for discussion on quelea births and threats to food security. Retired Colonel Dabai is also the former military governor of Rivers State between 1989 and 1990. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. It's so good to see you again, Colonel.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Right. So let's start with agriculture production in Kebbi State in the face of insecurity. How will you describe the situation in the state now?
I will thank Almighty God for His intervention. The situation is relatively stable, a little bit stable. Farmers are going back to their farms to begin preparation for harvest, and business is as usual, and those IDPs are also on their way back home. So I say the situation is relatively good.
Right, but now there is a new threat of quelea birds ravaging crops. Can you tell us more about these agricultural pests, and how is attacks by the birds affecting food production in the state?
Aquila birds are transboundary migratory birds. Small as they are, they come in millions. They are rice and millet farmers' enemy. They come as soon as they land on the farm, within 10, 20 minutes, that farm is finished. So they are a great threat to our farmers. When they come from Trans-Sahel area and get into Nigeria and divide themselves into two. One part comes towards the northwest, and the others go to eastern part of Nigeria. Those that come to northwest, they state farms that you find in Gulu, in Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, and Sokoto and Kebbi area. And when they come, they really devastate the farms. In 2011, I took a study of the level of devastation. And I was able to see that in Krikasama, Yobe State, there was, the calculation we made was about 20%, 25 to 30% loss to the quelea birds. And that is even despite federal government intervention. In 2013 and 14, in Kebbi State, there was similar loss to quelea birds, 25 to 30%. Of loss to quelea birds. You see, they are really a very significant threat to rice farming and millet.
All right, so what kind of crops do the quelea birds affect most?
The crops are rice, most especially rice. And they come when the rice had just begun to But after planting, 2-3 weeks after planting, when it has started manifesting, and the seeds, the rice seeds are in a formative stage, that is when they come and, of course, do their damage.
So because, I mean, according to research, this is not just a Kebbi thing. This is not just a Nigerian thing, because scientists estimate the number of quelea originating from Africa at around 100 million. How terrible is this incident on our hands?
Like the study shows, we experience about 6 to 70 million birds that come across Sokoto and, of course, to the rest of the southwest states. And believe me, they are terrible when they come.
All right. So can you also confirm to us that these birds migrate from Niger and Benin Republic?
They are migratory birds, like I said earlier on. And they come from the Sahel area.
Okay.
I've not heard of those coming from Benin, but from Niger, Burkina Faso, and up to Uganda, because Uganda doesn't happen to be a Sahel, but that's their area of operation. And they are seasonal. They know the season that when rice is being planted and going to come and devastate it. They come there. Here we have rice season, rice farming, and wet season. We've just gotten into wet season, and of course, Kebbi State, thanks to the governor, ensured that we did wet season whereabouts control.
Right. So, Colonel, it is said that these birds have ravaged almost 75,000 hectares of dry season rice plantations in Kebbi State. How will you react to that?
Well, that's true, but not 75. But before they began devastation, we were already in the field. And because His Excellency, the government made sure that the intervention was not timely. Once the intervention is timely, then the loss will be less. And of course, we'll see the farmer the problem of losing their crops. So I would say it's less than that figure has been reported because of the immediate intervention by the state government.
So, from your observatory or participatory research, what areas of the state are more affected by the birds?
The areas that are more affected are the northeast, and that was because of the problem that we had in the northeast. Despite the fact that Boko Haram was prevalent in the northeast, there were still some level of farming that was going on that, of course, the birds, little, not as large as that used to be. The birds were able to harvest the little work done by the inhabitants. But the sad thing is, after the rehabilitation, after the issue of Boko Haram was taken care of in Northeast, then the farming began, but there was no effective control of the infestation. And that's why we have that magnitude of loss to the gator birds in the Northwest.
So, Colonel, in terms of destruction, what is the difference between these quelea birds and locusts?
And the locusts.
In terms of destruction, did you get my question, Colonel?
Yeah, you are comparing the level of the destruction of quelea birds and locusts.
Right.
Now, the quailers are more. You see, the locusts are very slow and can be controlled before they expand their destruction. While quailers cover a large area within a short period of time. And so you see, the quailers' destruction is more in terms of magnitude than that of the locust.
Okay, so let's talk about control measures. Some extensive control measures against these birds have been unsuccessful. But as someone involved in this fight, what do you think is the best approach to tackling this threat?
And the best approach is to, one, to involve those qualified to do aerial pest control. This business is not for the faint-hearted. You don't just give anybody the responsibility of controlling aerial birds when, because he has an airplane. And even some are given, some of the control responsibilities are given to those contractors that don't have aircrafts. And they end up going to look for those that have it. And so I will strongly advise that this business be given to those who are qualified, who have the equipment with which to work. Secondly, the timing must be exact. You don't begin to control quailers when they've already manifested in the farms. You control as soon as you see sign of their devastation. And it's a matter of 2-3 days. If you don't, they are very fast in occupying the various farming locations. And so the best thing to do is to intervene as soon as you see the sign of manifestation. And that means getting ready for the time. Most of the time that control measures are taken is when the quailers have done their worst. You understand what I mean? So I suggest and advise strongly that the control must be done immediately. Immediately the sign of infestation is taking place.
All right, so Cornell, I mean, some experts are suggesting large-scale spraying of a chemical called fenthion. They say this is currently the favored and effective method of controlling this.
Yes. Fenthion is the chemical used in quailer birth control. What fenthion does, don't forget, we cannot eradicate them all. The thing is to control them, reduce their number so that the infestation will not be large enough to create such damage to the crops. And what the fenthion does is to, once you spray over the infested area, what it does is to shrink the bird's alveoli to make the birds not able to breathe. And of course, when you don't inhale oxygen, the result is simple. We do that, we spray the area with care because we don't want to annihilate all the birds. We reduce their size so that the infestation will be less. And once they look around and see there are few, they change. They fly back to where they came. That's natural.
Mm. So, I mean, just like I said earlier, you've been involved in this fight against the birds, but is there any collaboration with government on this?
Yeah, it's not an individual thing. The federal government, federal and state governments are involved in the control of the quail birds. They offer contracts to those who who have the equipment with which to carry out the control. Like I said, it has to be timely. That's the problem here. You know that civil service bureaucracy, before the approval comes, the contract process takes place, and devastation is already gone far. I would advise that a shorter method, a concrete method that will shorten the time of intervention be taken, rather than, okay, the birds are already there, then you bring out for contracts and bids to come in. Before that process is taking place, the birds are not waiting. They are not going to wait for anybody. The devastation will be commenced. By the time you get into the field, some large-scale damage is already done. So I would advise timely intervention and, of course, getting those who have the equipment with which to carry out this control be employed to do it. We must not say because for political reason you want to favor some. This is our far-fetched from. Let us look at it from a professional point of view. And of course, the program, the federal government, His Excellency, our Commander-in-Chief's program, Senator Bola, whose aim is to make sure that the hunger is driven out. If that is to be done, then we have to be timely in controlling it. We have a large percentage lost to these birds. So we must be timely. And of course, that is by reducing the long-chain bureaucracy to hit that point.
So, Colonel, compared to last year, how will you quantify the magnitude of destruction done by the birds this year?
Last year, there was the federal government undertook the best control. This year, there was none from federal government, and some states, only a few states, carried out independently. Like the state carried out the control by itself independently. So the best had a field day. I was out in the field in Pre-Kasama. I took the best show when they are. You need to see how magnificent they are when they are flying. Can you imagine 1 million birds flying within a space of 50 to 500 meters, and without any one of them hitting on each other? I fly aeroplanes. I can't see how we fly formation like those birds fly. It's incredible. I hope you see sample of these birds in the air. You can imagine when you have 1 million birds flying and landing in a farm. 1 million birds. In 5 to 10 minutes, that farm will change name, will not use anything.
Right, but then how are the local farmers and the people in general reacting to this threat?
Well, what the local farmers do is to send their children as early as 5 o'clock with drums, pans, so that they'll be beating the pans to scare the birds away. That's what they do all day. But you see, that's not good enough, because when you beat the children, they're few. When you beat drum or pans on this side, the birds are busy the other side. So the farmers rely on what the state government and federal government can do to provide that control. And that's why I'm emphasizing that this responsibility be given to those who have the equipment with which to carry out the control. It's not something that you fake. If you don't control, the result will be the birds will go and devastate the farm. And if the federal government and the state governments are aimed at providing that assistance to the farmers, then they have to do it timely and given to those who have the equipment and know how to do it. Like Kebbi State, for example, the yield this year was fantastic because the intervention was timely and the government took advantage of a company that has the know-how on wild birds control. It's a very serious issue. If you don't control the birds, then of course we lose 20 to 25% of them. We can't afford that birds.
So, Cornel, I know the threats by koala birds and insecurity will surely affect food security in the state and Nigeria at large. But what more options do we have as a country to boost food production?
Provide the necessary assistance to farmers, provide necessary security cover to farmers, and assist them protect their crops. And that is fighting all manner of pests.
Right. So finally, before I let you go, what is your advice to the federal government on best approaches to reviving the economy?
Best control reviving the economy? Come again on that question.
All right. So what's your advice to the federal government on best approaches to reviving the economy?
Providing work to the young men, bringing in plenty of factories and industries that will bring about employment and, of course, revamp the economy, and on the food security, let us be serious on the protection of crops.
All right. Thank you so much. I've been speaking with the immediate past Deputy Governor of Kebbi State and former Army fighter jet pilot, retired Colonel Samaila Yombe Dambai. Thank you so much for speaking with us tonight and on this serious threat, and we hope government gets into action. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. Get in touch with us on Twitter at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatuju. Good night.
Is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone, your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain? Not anymore. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the Contour Legacy Pillow, the patented, ergonomically designed tapered leg pillow that naturally fits the contours of your legs, knees and thighs to help align your spine and alleviate pain. Watch, when you sleep on your side, your leg falls forward, twisting your pelvis and lower back, putting pressure on your spine.